All right, everyone. So today I wanted to talk about what champions you are going to want to 6-star and take to level 60 next based off of the important roles that are going to need to be filled in the mid and end game. And that's because in the early game, it's totally fine to just level up whatever champions you want to level 60. You don't really need to worry too much about what they offer. But when you get to the mid and end game, there are very specific roles that you're looking for in specific areas of the game, certain buffs and debuffs and just things that you're looking for. And it's kind of like a checklist. You're going to want to make sure that your team fills all the checkboxes on that checklist in order to properly conquer that content. So I wanted to go over what those roles are, as well as the champions that can fill those roles, so that if you haven't taken these guys to level 60, you can kind of use this as a list to see what to work on next. And I know that there are plenty epic and legendary champions that fill all these roles, including some champions that even fill multiple of these roles, but the problem is not everybody is going to have all the epic and legendary champions. So I went through each of these roles and also added a bunch of rare champions as examples, so that if you don't have the epics and legendaries, you can work on the rares. And in a lot of cases, the rares are actually going to be better than a lot of the epics and legendaries, especially when we get into the clan boss and poisoners. But I don't want to jump too far ahead of myself. Let's start off first of all with the campaign. Now, the campaign is kind of, there's two parts to campaign farming. Now, the first part is going to be more for beginners, intermediate players, and this is the point where you can really take any champions that you want to 6-star and level 60 and use as a campaign farmer. You don't really need to worry about speed clearing the campaign at first. Pretty much any champion at level 60 properly geared is going to be able to handle Brutal just fine. And I'm sure that you can even get the runtime down on most champions with any kind of decent gear down to 45 seconds, 30 seconds, maybe even 20 seconds. But once you get more to the mid and late game, you're going to want a campaign farmer that can actually farm it really quickly. I'm talking under 10 seconds if possible. And there are a couple of rare champions that you can use if you don't have a lot of the epics or legendaries that fill this role. Now, there's 3 of them that I have listed here. Number 1 is probably going to be the most well-known rare campaign farmer in the game, and that is going to be Bellower. Bellower is just an absolute beast of a champion because he is going to have 3 area of effect skills. His attack 1, his attack 2, and his attack 3 are all AoEs, and they all offer something in addition to damage. So his first skill offers block cooldown, his second skill has decreased speed, and his third skill has decreased attack and decreased defense. Sure, it's the weak version, but considering how much other stuff this guy brings to the table, it makes sense, and absolutely going to be a rare champion that if you have him, he's going to be a beastly campaign farmer that can run Brutal Stage 12-3 or 12-6 in 7 seconds or so. Now, the other champion that I had on the list is discussed a little bit less, and that is actually going to be Felhound, who is in the Demon Spawn here. And this guy is also another champion that has an area of effect attack 1 right here. But the other thing about this guy is, first of all, I have heard that this guy's animation, his actual attack animation for Ravage, is quicker than Bellower, so you can actually farm about a second or so faster. Now, I haven't taken this guy up to level 60 yet, so I cannot confirm that, but that is what multiple people have told me. But the other thing is he also has a really nice skill for Fire Knights, which is this deflect right here. Sorry, not deflect, it's this one right here, this Flameborn Vigor. Places a 7.5% continuous heal buff and a 15% reflect damage buff on all allies for 2 turns. So you can see there with a 2-turn cooldown with skill books, that's going to be a very nice skill for the Fire Knights. So you've got a good campaign farmer, you've got a great Fire Knights champion, all built into a single rare. So he offers a lot and definitely going to be a champion worth taking to 60 specifically for those roles right there. Now, I also mentioned Saurus because he is another champion. However, he's not even a rare. He is an uncommon, and he's one of the very few uncommons that, if geared properly, can actually also farm the campaign in, 7 seconds or so. And if you go to the Lizardmen, he's going to be this guy right here, and he has an area of effect attack 1 and an area of effect attack 2 right here. So he has 2 AoE skills, which is great. He's an attack-based champion. You are going to need to gear him up properly, so it's not going to be super easy, but if you do have the proper gear and you do take this guy to level 60, he is also going to be capable of clearing the campaign extremely quickly, just like Bellower and Felhound can. So that's going to be one of those things that eventually you're going to want to consider taking champions to 6-star and 60 as you kind of move from, an early to intermediate player, more to an intermediate advanced player. So that's going to be campaign farmers. Now let's move on to the arena. Now this is an important one, of course. Now having a speed aura is debatably important for other aspects of the game. However, for the arena, it's kind of a must-have. Whereas in dungeons or even the clan boss, I've found that there are other substitutions. Like I personally have recently been really liking the crit aura because it makes gearing out a lot of my champions a lot easier. But for the arena, you're absolutely going to want a speed aura. So if you already have an epic or a legendary champion that has a speed aura, make sure, of course, that you actually take a look at the aura and say that it either says in all battles or in the arena. Very important because a lot of speed auras are either going to be only in dungeons or only in faction wars. So make sure that it actually applies to arena because that's going to be the most important use for that speed aura. And if you don't have an epic or legendary champion, this is absolutely something that you're going to want to work on getting a champion to 6-star for. Now, there are a couple of rare examples. One of them is just an absolutely amazing, versatile support champion. I've talked about her a lot, and she is phenomenal. That is going to be Spirit Host, of course. She does have a speed aura. It's only 10%, but she's one of the very few rare champions that actually has a speed aura that works in the arena. There's a couple of others. I'll talk about Haruspex next. But besides Spirit Host and Haruspex, all the other ones really don't offer anything else besides having a speed aura. So they're kind of just a waste of a spot, and in my opinion, not really worth taking to level 60. There might be one other one that's okay, but you know, most of the rares that have an aura that works in the arena just don't really do that much else. So with this speed aura, she also has a AoE attack buff right here, which is amazing. She has a removes all debuffs and a block debuffs, which is absolutely great. So she offers a lot of support and utility in addition to having that speed aura. Now, Haruspex is next on the list, and this guy is actually, I think, a little bit of an underrated champion. I'm not saying he's absolutely amazing, but he definitely does fill a lot of those roles that you're looking for in the mid and end game that you might not be able to find on epic or legendary champions if you don't have them. And of course, he does have that speed aura, which is effective only in the arena. But he also has another very nice skill right here, and it's this one, Sign of Swiftness. Fills the turn meter of all allies by 15%, places a 15% increased speed buff on all allies for 2 turns. You can get that down to a 3-turn cooldown, so it's very similar to Apothecary's skill, which also does the same things. It's a turn meter fill and a speed buff. But he does have this speed aura alongside with it. So he kind of fills 2 roles at once. He does also have this poison ability right here, which is going to be really nice for the clan boss. So in my opinion, that's kind of where this guy is going to end up shining the most. He does have this revive here, which I guess could come in handy in the arena as well. But one of the very few rare champions, in my opinion, that fills a lot of these roles, multiple of them at a time, that you are really going to be looking for. So that's definitely something that should be on your list of things that you are looking for getting champions to level 60. Now we are going to talk about something that is really a hot topic right now since the update yesterday, and that is clan boss and poisoners. Now, getting your clan boss damage up is absolutely going to be a priority. If you've got a lot of epic or legendary champions that can help do the trick for you, that's totally fine, but I know that not everyone is going to be on that same page. And now there are plenty of amazing rare champions that are actually going to be better off at filling a lot of these poison roles than plenty of epic and legendary champions. And we've actually got a couple of new additions here, specifically Frozen Banshee, Grave Chill Killer. Frozen Banshee was the one that ended up getting a revamp the other day, and she is now phenomenal. One of the best clan boss poisoners in the game now, debatably one of the best rares in the game now, and she is going to be in the Undead Hordes. So let's see here. Here she is. And she has got, let's talk about this skill first here. Attacks on enemy, places a 25% poison sensitivity debuff for 2 turns. Get that down to a 3-turn cooldown. Now, poison sensitivity, this is going to increase the damage of your poisons by 25%. But what this ability also does is it allows her to proc her first skill all the time. Attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit has a 100% chance with skill books of placing a 5% poison debuff for 2 turns if they're under a poison sensitivity debuff. And because they are from her 3rd skill, she's going to be applying a lot of poisons from her first skill right there. So she's also got this, fills the turn meter of all allies by 2% for each debuff. So if you got a lot of poison stacks on the clan boss, that's going to help out as well. And she is amazing. There's lots of videos, screenshots, clips everywhere. People are posting how amazing she is, and she is easily doing 10 million plus damage on the higher clan boss difficulties with her poison. So Honestly, better than many epics and legendaries right now when it comes to clan boss poisoners. Now, alongside her is Grave Chill Killer, or as I called her in one of my videos, Grave Kill Chiller. And she's also really good because she does have this poison right here, 50% chance. You can up it a little bit more with masteries and whatnot. She's got this right here, attacks on enemy 2 times, has the weak version of poison or the strong version of poison if they're under poison sensitivity. And because you're going to be running Frozen Banshee alongside Grave Chill Killer, you're going to get that strong version. But she also has this strong version of decreased defense, which is 100% if they're under a poison, which they're going to be. And this is one of the very important debuffs that you're going to be looking for when it comes to the clan boss. Now, I'm going to talk about buffs and debuffs for the clan boss and dungeons next, because those are also very important roles that you're going to be looking to fill when it comes to what champions to 6-star and take to level 60. But she fills a lot of those roles and also very nice. Definitely a fantastic duo. You've got Frozen Banshee, Grave Chill Killer, absolutely phenomenal. Definitely going to be worth taking to 60. But there's some other champions as well. I just talked about Haruspex. He's good for the arena. He's, in my opinion, even going to be better for the clan boss because he has that poison right there. You have Kale, of course, the starter. Amazing champion for all sorts of areas in the game. Very versatile. Amazing for the clan boss as well. You've got Coldheart. You've got Outlaw Monk, who is an uncommon. Can also fill that role of poisons. And this is definitely going to be an area of the game that you're absolutely going to want to focus on. And now what I want to talk about to end things off are buffs and debuffs. Now, this is something that is also extremely important, especially as you get into higher difficulties of the clan boss and also higher stages of dungeons. You're not just going to be looking for DPS. If you just focus on DPS, you're going to be in for a rough time. You're going to need to fill roles with certain buffs and debuffs. And in my opinion, there is a priority list. There's 4 really important ones. You've got decreased attack, decreased defense, increased attack, and increased defense. Those are going to be the 4 most important ones. You've got other things like accuracy and whatnot, but the most important ones, in my opinion, the priority list from most important to least important out of those 4 goes decreased defense, decreased attack, increased defense, and increased attack. So you've got the 2 debuffs first, and then you've got the 2 buffs. Now, some people might be wondering, why is this my priority list? And one of the big reasons is the debuffs are a priority because the debuffs last a lot longer than buffs do, because your enemies take turns a lot slower than you take turns generally. So it's going to be a lot easier to keep all of your debuffs active on your enemies than it is to keep all of your buffs active on all of your champions. Because you have so much speed relative to the opponents that you're fighting, you're taking a lot more turns relative to them, and that means that your buffs are going to be expiring quicker. So if you can get debuffs up on the enemy that have a decent duration, you're going to stay there for a really long time, and you're going to get a lot of benefit from them. Also, they're just going to be important for that high-end content. Decreased defense is going to give you a lot of extra damage, and decreased attack is going to reduce the damage that you take a lot, increasing your survivability. So, of course, there are some rare champions that could fill a lot of these roles. We have that Grave Chill Killer, which I just talked about, who has that strong version of decreased defense. Warb Maiden, of course, another fantastic champion that I think is overlooked by a lot of people. She's in the Barbarians here, and she's got some very, very strong, let's see. She's got some very strong features here, including a poison, which is really nice for the clan boss specifically, but she's got that decreased defense on her 3rd skill right here, that strong version of it, 100% chance, and she also has an increased attack on herself, which is nice. It's not the AoE, it's not a full AoE, but it is for herself. Another champion that I put on the list, which is fantastic, a newer champion specifically for the clan boss, going to be in the Knights Revenant. Let's see here, Knights Revenant. I know it's at the top somewhere, right? I thought it was at the top. I guess it's at the bottom. And that is Coffin Smasher. Now, he only has 2 skills and 1 passive, but they are very specific, fantastic for the clan boss. So he's got that strong version of decreased attack, which is one of those very important debuffs that you are going to be looking for the clan boss. And he also has an HP burn, which you can only have 1 HP burn on the clan boss, so this guy is going to fill that role. So he's kind of got that 2-for-1 special on a rare champion. Very, very nice. He also takes a bit less damage from AoEs, but another great choice for filling the roles of those buffs and debuffs. Now, there are some other champions that I listed here as well. We have Bogwalker, who's kind of like the old version of Coffin Smasher. He does some other things as well, but I think a lot of people lately have been preferring Coffin Smasher over Bogwalker. You've got Doomscreech, which is a champion I've talked about quite a bit over the last few videos, Marked, and once again Spirit Host, because she has that speed aura and also that increased attack buff, so a great support champion. But overall, those strong versions of debuffs and buffs are going to be very, very important and absolutely going to be roles that you're looking to get filled when it comes to moving to mid and end game content. Now, I know I didn't really talk much about epic and legendary champions in this video specifically, and I did that for a reason, and that's because a lot of people are not going to have all the epics and legendaries that I mentioned. So I wanted to stick to rare champions that I used for the actual examples. However, out of all these roles that I talked about, if you guys have epic or legendary champions that could do the trick just fine, and you feel might even be better than the rares that I mentioned, that's totally fine. I just stuck to rares as examples because I think these are going to be champions that a lot of people will eventually be able to get, unlike epics and legendaries. But that's going to be it for the video today. I threw a lot of information at you guys, so hopefully now you have a list of some decent champions that you might be interested in working on next and taking to 60 and 6-starring. So that's going to be it for the video today. I hope that you guys enjoyed. Have a fantastic day, everyone. If you want to help out, tossing a quick like means a whole bunch. If you want more videos like this in the future, consider subscribing to the channel, and more videos should be popping up on the screen right about now. Over 33,000 subscribers, getting close to 200 raid videos on the channel. Thanks again, everyone. Have a fantastic day, and this is Salt of the Salty Guild, signing out.